Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode. I'm your host, Davon Lewis. Appreciate you guys coming out for another lovely Tuesday night as I'm doing a recap results when it came to Monday Night Raw, as things was on high gear and full tensions when it came to the road to WrestleMania. But tonight we're officially 4 days away when it comes to the road to WrestleMania, the showcase of the morals, and you couldn't ask for anything better when it came to how things are running, when it came to the Bloodline pretty much running Brooklyn and pretty much putting the whooping when it came down to Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. They took care of business, and the way how Triple H has been booking this and putting his imprint, or even if Dwayne the Rock Johnson is getting himself involved as well with the writing, I'm enjoying the way how the flow of everything has been being pushed, and you couldn't ask for anything better when it came to just the storytelling, and as well as the fans have been truly invested with the sellout shows each and every single week, including the live shows as well. Um, it's a big props to WWE under the TKO banner as they continue to do great things each and every single week on not only on Monday nights but as well as follow up on Friday nights as well. But let's go ahead and get into the card. The card pretty much was pretty decent from start to finish. We ended up having eight-man tag team action as we had DIYs, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, along with the New Day members Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, and tag team action as they were taking on the Judgment Day members Damian Priest, Dominik Mysterio, Finn Balor, and JD McDonagh, and that beef was continue to be run shot. And I look forward to when all those competitors who are facing the Judgment Day are going to be involved in a tag team ladder match. And I know it's going to be hard pandemonium. And I look forward to seeing the transition of that tag team ladder match. As if you haven't been notified, that both titles will be ascended when it comes to the rafters. And basically, if one title comes down, the match continues until the other title comes down. So basically, the titles can possibly be split, which is well overdue from my own personal hot take. I think it's about time for those titles to be split up, and we shall see what the writing on the wall comes this following Saturday or Sunday when they put it directly on the card. As well, we ended up having a phenomenal, decent not six man, but singles action where we had Sami Zayn and Bronson Reed tearing down the house for a decent little bit of a time until it basically resulted in a no DQ. And then we had Candice LeRae along with Indi Hartwell on tag team action taking on Ivy Niles and Maxxine Dupri. As well, we had a men's singles action, which we had Ricochet and Ivar basically doing everything possible under the sun when it came to their regards to their match. You couldn't ask for anything better when it came to those two men. And Ivar has continued to be growing on me each and every single week as he's being a singles competitor, as well as Ricochet, as they're letting the chains off the loose and letting him be his actual direct self. Couldn't ask for anything better when it comes to Ricochet. Then we have six women tag team action. We have Damage Control members Asuka, Dakota Kai, and Kairi Sane, along with Io Sky, um, taking on Shayna Baszler, Tegan Knox, and Zoe Starks. As this was a statement, six women tag team action, as Damage Control was looking to make a statement when it comes to their future six woman tag team match at WrestleMania, as they're looking to go into battle with Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and Naomi, which is going to be amazing. Six woman tag team. Hopefully, they give them some decent time and roll from there. As well, we had a phenomenal main event, which was decent from start to finish. Couldn't ask for anything better when it came to Seth Rollins and Solo Sikoa. They pretty much broke down the house as well, as things really broke down fairly quickly, as well as the conclusion of the main event when things really just broke down from there, as the bloodline really got themselves injected. Same with Seth Rollins and a returning Cody Rhodes from there, if you guys already have been updated from there. But let's go ahead and get into the card of everything that pretty much broke down. And I appreciate you guys coming through to show your love and support and make your way over to my actual channel. But let's go ahead and get into everything. Basically, the show started off red hot when it came to Michael Cole and Pat McAfee basically hyping up the show card with pretty much everything that was pretty much broken down. And then, of course, it started off with a recap of everything that was going on when it came to last week, where Cody Rhodes was beaten down by Dwayne The Rock Johnson, which pretty much that was a amazing cinematic kind of setup. Basically, the camera angles was on point. Couldn't ask for anything better when it came to that whole setup. And then, of course, them breaking the chains and breaking the rules with a little bit of profanity and everything in between. And it was calm, cool, and collective. I was highly invested. And each and every single week, they keep doing something more and more and more that keeps getting more engaging. Hopefully, The Rock has a footprint when it comes to the writing on that, directly which we know he has. And same along talking with the other writers and staff and working along with Triple H, as Triple H has been doing a phenomenal job under the TKO banner. You got to give him his props and give him his flowers to the way how he's been interjecting himself and getting things in the right direction when it comes to booking and storytelling, and basically keeping us invested as it's kind of like a new veteran chapter when it comes to the Bloodline saga. Of course, it kind of refreshed it because it was getting a little like flatline, but when The Rock got involved, it kind of boosted everything up a little bit more when it came to how everything was broken down. As well, the commentary team basically went to full talks when it came to saying that the first hour of Monday Night Raw was going to be commercial free, which they did stayed on course when it came to that for the first hour, and pretty much they were hyping WrestleMania up as well. Then we get ready for as things broke down from there, from the actual full recap of that beatdown with Cody Rhodes with the weight belt and getting busted open. Then The Rock interjected himself and made his entrance for the Brooklyn crowd, which they were at the Barclays Center, and it was red hot when it came to The Rock basically being involved. And it was giving goosebumps throughout that whole entire entrance with the lovely, nice return of the Hollywood thing with the mix of his natural theme as well, with the little prelude and changing with the whole spotlight. Still love this brand new entrance. Couldn't ask for anything better in the deliverance of how they've been working with the whole new repackage of The Rock. And I look forward to seeing how it actually will look when it comes to that full WrestleMania stage with the big XL front and center with the colors in the green from there. So The Rock basically grabs a mic, basically still continue to just soak it all in when it comes to the crowd. Basically, some was chanting Rocky, some was chanting Rocky suck, and then he proceeded to talk that basically says that he made that boy bleed, and then he soaked it in. The crowd started booing, and he said he wrapped his hands around his head. He split his head wide open. He rammed him into the bus, and there was all blood all over the Rock's hands, just as he promised. And he said he wiped the blood all over the belt. The only thing that was truly missing was Mama Rhodes when it came to that direct segment of last week. Then he proceeded to talk about the upset Cody crybabies going about the making about the way how he's making their hero bleed, and he said that he was going to beat him like a dog, and he did. He delivered. And some reactions that he saw stopped him in his tracks. And he shows footage of an upset little girl crying and how she was never going to be able to watch Moana again. And also, they showed another little footage of a little different little girl upset that Cody just died. She thought that's what she thought, based on the whole situation of the whole bleeding, getting beat down to a pulp, and both which was, and then Rock said, but which both of those segments, both of those little videos was adorable and hilarious in the same time. And then the fans started to boo him as things continued to broke down. Then the Rock said stuff like, it breaks his heart that he has little ones at home as well. He's a proud three-time girl dad, and says that he sees them crying like that, it breaks his heart just in general. However, he wants those kids' parents to put them directly in front of the television. And right now, because Uncle Rock is going to drop some gospel right now, you know how The Rock knows how to interject and put on some fire promos when it comes to everything that he actually has to say. Then he says, the moment in life when a man has to got to do what a man has got to do. And there's a moment in life where people talk shit, but when they shouldn't have been talking shit, that's exactly what Cody did. And that made for a moment where The Rock had to beat Cody's punk ass over and over again. And he said, right now, professional wrestling is cool again, which I highly agree with that. Everything has been looking good. And he says the ratings have skyrocketed because of The Rock. Not only just to him, but just that whole entire feud that's been going on directly with the Bloodline and other people involved. CM Punk's return and so many other stars who have been interjecting themselves into just where everybody's on their top form level. And he said they set a record for the largest gate in history of Raw ever. And there's just one reason why. Because finally the blood was shed, and finally the final boss has come home back to Brooklyn. And he also basically pointed out he didn't come alone. As soon as that happened, we ended up having a Roman Reigns pop theme happen. He was also accompanied with the rest of the Bloodline, Big Jimmy Uso, Solo Sikoa, and Paul Heyman as they came out. Of course, did their normal one stitch and kept everything running smoothly. Roman was soaking it all in. It was like a mixed crowd of cheers and boos as things really broke down. And then Roman basically got on the mic as Paul Heyman do his normal style of handing him the mic. And he said he talks about how his family is above all and how he always felt and operated. And he came to acknowledge his family, but he got distracted berating the crowd as the crowd basically started chanting yeet. And basically he got on their case about that. And he said basically no yeet. And he said he think his cousin because this is going to be the easiest WrestleMania of his life. And pretty much he said a tag team match, or the all match is a tag team match. They're gonna smash them fools. Then it's bloodline rules. So they're gonna have their way with Cody Rhodes. And he thanks his cousin, The Rock. Furthermore, he went above and beyond, making that boy bleed. And he whooped Cody, and he didn't need to do that. But damn, it felt good to see it how it happened. So, of course, The Rock broke everything down. He says so for where he wants to thank him again for putting his family. But Roman basically said he wants to thank him for putting his family first and set an example the only way the final boss can set, and that's how you lead. And Cody Rhodes is a fit for leadership. He's a politician. When they start making this cool again, Rhodes was off somewhere else doing some doing not much, and they allowed him to come back into those doors, which they basically was referring to when he was in AEW trying to revamp himself and get himself back into motion. Then he decided to leave AEW and came back to the WWE, which that was a smart move on him. I guess he wanted to be more focused on being a professional wrestler more than being one of the big guys as being the vice president and being responsible for a company. And then, in time with that, probably was stressful when it came to doing that particular job. Um, then Roman basically talked about that he won't be taking off the top of the mountain because it's their mountain and they run this business. And on Sunday, it won't be more than before he even said Chris. Then Seth Rollins music interjects and he comes to the crowd that whole school shield style, which you couldn't ask for anything better when it came to Seth Rollins. He knows how to get under Roman Reigns' skin each and every single time. He was smiling. He was basically singing along with the fans. He basically just soaking it all in as the crowd was really singing his theme. And then he got on the mic and gets straight to business. He says that if you two idiots think that he's gonna walk in there into an ambush, they're even stupider than he thought. And that you want to pull that crap on him, you got to come up there and fight the whole city of Brooklyn. And then he said last week, Rock crossed the line and said that he feels like time and talk is over and he is ready for a fight. And when he comes to Seth Rollins, you know that he knows how to prepare himself, and he knows how to get down when it comes to fighting. And he said he doesn't mean at WrestleMania in 5 days. He wants to fight right then, right now. And says he wants the biggest main event of all time for tonight on Raw in Brooklyn. And tonight on Raw, Seth Rollins versus the final boss. Or he said, or guess what? He doesn't think that DJ has the balls, but he knows his cousin, the tribal chief, may have a growing set of him, and he's had in the last few years. And so, if he doesn't want to fight him, he'll be happy to have Roman Reigns as the cornerstone of fighting him for the night. Matter of fact, he leave it up to them. He even let them pick the stipulation. Then The Rock proceeded to cut him off, says, and calls him a punk, and asks if he didn't see what he did to his partner last week. He claims he gave Cody brain damage, and Seth doesn't want any of that. And Rock knows he's tough, crazy son of a bitch, but then he's not going to fight him. But they know they do have a plan. And then Solo Sikoa steps up. He has a mic as well, and he says he's going to challenge Seth Rollins for tonight. And things broke down there, and then Rollins, of course, responded back by saying, as I quote, he said he got the biggest back in all of the bloodline, and it's on tonight. And Rock adds that if it's going to be bloodline rules, and they will see him later on tonight. Then things broke down from that actual segment. That was a nice promo from both sides, injecting back and forth, hitting nice little shoots at each other, and you couldn't ask for anything better when it came to that full segment, when it came to the bloodline and Seth Rollins. And I truly look forward to seeing how things break down at WrestleMania for night one when they get that tag team match and things really truly break down in the best regard possible. Um, but I'd like to know you guys' hot take when it comes to that. I think everything will be chill, still basically keep you seated, keep you enjoying the whole entire thing. The Rock maybe do a decent job. Hopefully, he doesn't get hurt because I know pretty soon he'll be going away for a little bit and get ready to head back to Hollywood. Then they do Raw switches things up and go into a recap of Rhea Ripley interview by Ariel Helwani earlier in the day at his studio in New York. And then, of course, things broke down from there as Ariel basically said he got a phone call, and it was basically Becky Lynch on the phone line. And she basically said she's been trying to get come there all day and everything in between. And Ari said, well, you can always come here. And she's like, well, I am here. Well, I will be there. I'm here right now. And then he was like, and then I guess, of course, Rhea said, let her come up. I don't mind it. I have no problems with that. And then basically everything broke down from there as Becky came directly into the studio set. And she said, timeless talk is over. When you talked about her daughter, it's personal, and she's ready for a fight. She, of course, Rhea got up, and then Becky ended up shoving her, and then security interjected themselves and ended up breaking it up as things went there from there, as they cut away from the actual pre-recorded interview situation with Ariel. Did we get ready for 8-man tag? It was DIYs, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, along with the New Day members Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, versus the Judgment Day Damian Priest, Dominik Mysterio, Finn Balor, and JD McDonagh. What can I say about this match? This match really was truly great when it came to everything that you can have truly asked for. It was a whole lot of high spots, transitional moves. Kofi doing a nice coffin drop directly to the outside, planches on the outside. Of course, Rey Mysterio doing that Monster Amigos, interchanges of tags back and forth. Um, then the highlight was when JD McDonagh hit that Spanish Fly, which was kind of nice. Couldn't ask for anything better. Both teams are going back and forth, interchanging moves when it came to both parties, and you couldn't ask for anything better when how things really truly was fully breaking down back and forth in that match. The match went a pretty decent back and forth as Xavier was getting fired up, including with a couple fireman's carry, and then of course a nice little hot tag, and then float overs, and then everybody was able to get their trademarks in. But the conclusion of the match was when Damian Priest pretty much controlled the majority match, cleared everybody out the ring, and took care of business, hitting a nice little choke slam, sit down choke slam, and then picked up the victory with the Razor's Edge directly on Tommaso Ciampa for the 1, 2, 3 as the Bloodline became, not the Bloodline, but the Judgment Day became victorious. And the way how Damian Priest was looking so passionate and serious and straight to the point of handling Judgment Day's business, you couldn't ask for anything better. As I'm looking to see how he does interject himself and how he get those nice high spots and throwing people to the ladder and everything between. But from my own pick, I think the Judgment Day maybe lose both tag team championships, but we shall see what it goes on in the long run when it comes to the tag team. But the Bloodline is not the Bloodline, but the Judgment Day is looking great when it comes to how everything is really just looking great on the pen and paper, as well as how things have been getting back on a collision course with all the competitors as well from that 8-man tag who will be involved, which will be Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston, along with DIY, who will be involved as well in that ladder match, including with a couple other SmackDown competitors who will be involved as well, including New Catch Republic. And I look forward to seeing all those competitors really do some high spots, and then pretty much do something that we haven't seen in a while with the ladder match. But it's a nice little thing of seeing that multi-man ladder match being returning back to WrestleMania, and you couldn't ask for anything better directly. And then they go to a backstage segment with Roman Reigns, who's taking his leave, and he leaves The Rock in charge as he goes to write Paul Heyman's Hall of Fame speech. And Paul Heyman said, "This is not a prediction, this is a spoiler." He's making it clear that Roman will be inducting him into the Hall of Fame. And then he proceeded to kiss The Rock's hand and takes his leave as well as they left the building. Then we switch over to a video package of Chad Gable training Sami Zayn for his WrestleMania match against Gunther and provoking Sami as well along the way, admitting that he's afraid of letting people down, and basically going back and forth with a couple of transitional moves, and basically just getting ahead of Sami and saying that Gunther's not going to give up, so you don't need to give up as well, and pushing him to his limits. And Sami basically really got a fire under him and really did everything that Chad Gable was asking, as things really broke down from there. Then we come back. Then they went to a commercial break. Then they came back from a commercial break, and then they showed the Judgment Day are hanging out at their clubhouse backstage. And out of the blue, Legado del Fantasma shows up directly, and Damian Priest is highly pissed. He starts going on a rant, and he says, "Dog Mysterio for not." He goes directly off on Dominik Mysterio for not telling him that Legado was going to show up, and he proceeded to say, "You got to handle this," as he ended up walking away and going from there. Then, of course, Rhea ended up trying to calm the situation down, the tensions, and she tells Dominik to fix the communication issues. And then Dom ended up introducing Legado del Fantasma as Judgment Day and them ended up started to suggest to play darts with each other as things basically broke away and cut to the next following match as Sami Zayn ended up coming out to his entrance, propping the crowd. Was a little bit more serious, but into his own. And then, of course, Big Bronson Reed came down as well as his entrance, looking stellar, looking like a big man as he knows how to be. And things really broke down in this match as it was pretty decent. It was okay from my own hot take. It wasn't anything too much spectacular. It was decent for what it was. But the match ended up going back and forth for the lights transitional moves, everything between, including Bronson Reed going for the Tour of Ireland and a couple other signature moves. Sami was trying to get the upper hand majority of the match, trying to do powerlifting moves, but couldn't lift Bronson Reed. But he was able to get their interchange towards the end of the match, slip out when Bronson was trying to go for the 747 splash, which is formerly known as the tsunami, and he ended up missing. and then Sami was about to interject himself to set up for the haluva kick in the corner, but then um, the crowd started booing, and then they panned to her up the ramp to show Gunther dragging a lifeless Chad Gable up towards the entranceway and smiled and basically taunted Sami. As Sami got frustrated, got distracted, and ended up walking directly up the ramp from there. As things was breaking down from there, Gunther came back and booted Sami Zayn, which initially caused the disqualification. Then Gunther conceded to beat down, I mean, literally beat down Sami Zayn like a government mule, and he really took advantage of him with a couple short arm lariats, big overhand chops, and blasted him as well with a couple of kicks and boots. And he left Sami laying as he ended up raising the title. But he was just about to walk away, and Sami basically continued to get himself back up, staggering to his feet. And then Gunther, a defiant Sami Zayn, was just about to rally himself up, hype himself up. And then Gunther ended up blasting him with the title to officially knock him out. And then look over the fallen Chad Gable and Sami Zayn as he pretty much smiled. And then he proceeded to walk to the backstage from there. Then the next backstage segment, we end up seeing Jey Uso, who was all hyped, ready to go. He was into his own tune. And then he runs into Lil Wayne, who was backstage, and he asks Lil Wayne, can he come over to WrestleMania this following weekend and be in his corner? Lil Wayne says he'll be there, and also he will bring in his new single, and they ended up going into a commercial break. Then they come back from commercial break and they do a high package highlight reel of this year's 2024 class of 2004 Hall of Fame, and they're including the Rock's grandmother Leah Mayavidi Via, which is a great accomplishment. Congratulations to Leah, as well deserved, including the territories that she had been promoted when it came to being involved in wrestling. And The Rock will be inducting her into the Hall of Fame, as well as earlier today, this following Tuesday, The Rock did something else on social media, and it was a nice little tribute to his grandmother, the way how they were interjecting everything from there. Then we got ready for women's tag team action. It was Candice LeRae, Indi Hartwell taking on Ivy Niles and Maxxine Dupri. Things really have been taking a twisted turns these past couple weeks, as Maxxine really have just been trying to get back into her own momentum after so many backlash on social media, as things really broke down. And then Candice took advantage of that and basically bullying her and berating her, talking about her family, her brother, and everything in between. But this was a redemption when it came to Maxine to really prove herself a little bit, as things really broke down back and forth between the tag team. It was like transitional tag team moves back and forth, nice hot tags, everything under the sun, back and forth, including a nice little ring cutoffs when it came to Candice LeRae and Indi Hartwell controlling the majority of the match. But majority of the match, Ivy now was pretty much controlling it with her couple of suplexes, everything in between, couple of lariats, and made the tag to Maxxine as well towards the end. Things really broke down when Candice LeRae knocked the Ivy Niles down while the referee wasn't looking, and Indi gave her his look about it and pretty much started arguing with her. And as Ivy tagged in Maxxine Dupri, Maxxine ended up drop kicking um, Candice LeRae to the floor, and things really broke down from there after the whole bump into. Basically, Indi ended up hitting into Candice LeRae, and Candice LeRae fell after Maxxine hit the drop kick from the back directly to Indi Hartwell, and then they did a small package folding press and roll up, which caused the 1, 2, 3. And Maxxine Dupri ended up getting the victory, as both ladies, Ivy Niles and Maxxine Dupri, was celebrating, but they really didn't focus on the camera too much on her and the victory. Kind of took it away from that, which I kind of noticed that, and I kind of peeped that out from that corner of my eye, seeing like I'm seeing what they're doing there, and they focused more on Candice LeRae, as she was highly pissed. She was looking truly pissed. She was not satisfied whatsoever the way how things were really breaking down when it came to the flow of the match, everything. And she told her that she should have focused and everything between, and really started berating Indi Hartwell. As Indi Hartwell heart really wanted to be in the right place, but she seems like she's tied in so many different ways as well as to which way she's going to go. But I look forward to seeing what happens next week as things continue to be interjected. If they're going to continue to revisit a feud, or they're going to give it a little cold period, and then they would end up having a match later on again, as fans would be kind of like not really invested or interested from there. Then when they panned over to the commentary after that segment, after Candice LeRae was upset, and the commentary informed that Cody Rhodes isn't clear to appear, and that he will be ready for WrestleMania, which that was kind of weird. That didn't make sense. Like he wasn't clear to be there at Raw, but he was gonna be at WrestleMania, even though that was a serious beatdown. And then they go to a recap of the opening segment because Raw is technically was 3 hours long, and they went over that whole entire opening segment with The Rock, the Bloodline, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins, of course, going back and forth about that. And then they switch over gears into a backstage segment with Seth Rollins hanging backstage with Jey Uso as he welcomes and tells him that he's got his back if the Bloodline tries some shady stuff, and they end up going to commercial break. But once they came back from a commercial break, they end up showing a video package of Drew McIntyre standing in front of a casket and having a podium directly him, and he pretty much teared into CM Punk, now having a match at WrestleMania, and of course doing a recap of everything that broke down with the injury at Royal Rumble, and of course calling him an out of shape has been, and before switching gears, he switched things over to Seth Rollins by calling him Seth Cringe Lord Rollins, which that was kind of funny, but it was kind of interesting seeing a hot take of how things really was broken down from there. Then we got ready for the next singles match, which was Ivar and Ricochet in singles competition. This was a decent match. I'll give this an 8 out of 10. It was pretty decent, and you couldn't ask for anything better when it came to Ivar and Ricochet. There was a lot of as well with so much happening directly in that match. There was a lot of twists and turns within that match, including a nice Tiger Driver, and of course a couple of signature moves back and forth, a lot of springboard moves, and then the highlight was Ivar hitting the Boss Man Slam, which is a tribute to Big Boss Man, which he had. I talked about that previously in social media. And then there was a nice little springboard crossbody block from the big man. And then, of course, he tried to go for his signature moonsault to basically take out Ricochet, but Ricochet was able to counter it from the body slam avalanche splash. And then Ricochet was able to catch him with a fall away slam. Then he ended up heading to the top ropes and hitting this beautiful 630 senton for the 1, 2, 3 as things truly broke down from there when it came to Ricochet. Ricochet was truly the king that he truly needed to be, and I felt like the chains were truly taken off of Ricochet, and you couldn't ask for anything better. I was highly invested, and Ricochet continued to be impressive of being that leaping puma throughout that whole entire match, as well as they're making him become a whole lot better each and every single week. And I enjoy how things have been coming into their own when it comes to Ricochet. This match was pretty decent from start to finish. Couldn't ask for anything better. It went a total of 10 minutes and 10 seconds, but it was decent for my own hot take, and it kept me invested, and you couldn't ask for anything better. Ivar as well, he's been one of those big players on the field who really have been interjecting himself, and I really am enjoying each and every single week. He continues to get better and better, and really just keep me invested as being a real true big man, similar to Bam Bam Bigelow and all the big greats that come before him. But he's doing some moves that pretty much a lot of big men haven't been able to do for his size. But he's really been doing a really great and phenomenal job. Then they switch gears back to the Judgment Day clubhouse in the back, in this back of the segment, as they continue to play darts and laughing and joking with Legado del Fantasma. But then Damian Priest gets angry that Ricochet still hasn't been handled, and then JD McDonagh steps up and says that that they're both going to be in the Andre Giant Battle Royal. And for the memory of Andre the Giant, he will handle it and take care of it and go from there. But Dominik also says if there's an off chance JD doesn't get it done, he knows just the guy that he'll handle it. And then Andrade El Eagle appears. And Dominik introduces Andrade. And Santos tells Andrade if he takes care of Ricochet, he'll be a full member of Judgment Day. And Andrade asks if he needs him to take care of his business. And Mysterio said Dominik says no, he wants him to take care of his own business in a way that is a way better suitable situation. But and then Andrade basically respects it and goes about his way from there. Then, of course, Rhea goes off to handle her own business. As she says, she got some business to handle, and she ended up leaving the clubhouse, and they ended up going to commercial break. Then they came back from commercial break. Becky Lynch music hits the arena over there in Brooklyn as it was red hot when it came to everything that was going on, and you couldn't ask for anything better. Becky Lynch was in full gear mode. She was serious, straight to the point. She grabbed the mic, and she said she's done all the talking she needs to do. So now she come to basically do some fighting, and she's ready to fight Rhea Ripley, and she's ready to get straight to business because things have got personal. But as soon as things broke down, as she was calling out Rhea Ripley, Adam Pearce came down and says that it's not going to happen tonight. He's the he's the April Fool for even trying to not get involved, but he needed to get involved. So the biggest match in WrestleMania match of all history of all time doesn't get jeopardized. And he asks her respectfully, can she leave the ring? Then Rhea Ripley's music hit, and then of course Adam Pearce is like, here we go again with some more drama. And Rhea basically goes up the ramp, basically heading towards the ring, and Adam Pearce tries to cut her off, but she blows right past him, blasts past the security, and she ended up sliding into the ring and ended up getting into a brawl out with Becky Lynch as things really broke down as those ladies went toe to toe back and forth, fighting inside the ring, directly outside the ring, as security finally got involved to try to break it up, and things broke down from there as Becky Lynch shoved off a couple of guards as well, and then she went directly to the top rope as Rhea was on the outside, and then she did a nice little dive onto the outside of Rhea, and they continued to brawl as things broke down as they ended up pulling them apart, and they switched to the backstage segment after that whole brawl out, and then Damage Control appears, and Dakota Kai cuts a promo about how much of a dominant faction Damage Control is, and that they all have all the gold basically, and that they're going to handle Bailey, they're going to handle Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, and Naomi. And then they ended up going to a commercial break from there. Then things broke down from there. After they came up for commercial break, then we show still Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley are still brawling backstage, as these women really have some serious tensions when it comes to everything that's been breaking down with them. You couldn't ask for anything better when it came to the deliverance of these ladies, but these ladies really have a true hatred for each other. This match better not be a flop when it comes to Mania because they're really building it up like a true hatred for each other, and hopefully this match really truly delivers. Adam Pearce brought more security to try to break it up as things broke down. Then Damage Control's theme hit, and of course Damage Control came down for a six-woman tag team action as Asuka, Dakota Kai, and Kairi Sane made their way along with Io Sky, the women's champion, over from SmackDown. And then things got into a quick start as Tegan Knox and Dakota Kai got into a brawl and going back and forth with a couple Irish whips and corners and then interchanges tags. And basically everything broke down from there as Shayna Baszler got involved with a couple of German suplexes and a couple of drop kicks. But pretty much Damage Control controlled the majority of this match back and forth, including everything that pretty much took place. Even Zoe Starks was trying to do a couple of signature moves back and forth, trying to get it to fire up the crowd to get them all invested. But the crowd really just wasn't invested. She's pretty much a known heel, and it was kind of awkward seeing them trying to play the face role. But was kind of confused when it came to them being interjected into a tag team match with Tegan Knox. But things broke down from there as Damage Control cut everybody off, took advantage of everything, showed their actual dominance as they pretty much know how to work together with the chemistry. And then the ending of the match ended up happening with Kairi Sane ended up hitting that insane inverted elbow and with the assist of Asuka. And things ended in 9 minutes, which this was a pretty decent long match back and forth. But they gave the ladies a little bit more time because they had to, because this was a 6-man tag, so they had to give him a little bit more of a touch and loving. But this match was just poor deliverance, kind of lazy booking. But it is what it is when it comes to just my own hot take and my own opinions. But just in general, I just wasn't feeling this 6-man tag team match. But of course, Damage Control did stand tall and basically was looking dominant as they're steamrolling, getting ready to head to WrestleMania for their respective opponents that they're lined up for. As Io Sky is going to go to battle with Bailey for the Women WWE Women's Championship, and then of course the tag team title, Women's tag team title will not be on the line as Asuka and Kairi Sane, along with Dakota Kai, are going to be in tag team action for this women's 6-man tag team against a debuting singles. Well, it won't be a singles, but more so making our big stage debut will be Jade Cargill, along with Bianca Belair and Naomi. But I think Naomi and Jade Cargill and Naomi will pick up the victory along with Bianca because Bianca got to keep that undefeated streak of not losing. So I don't see Damage Control actually walking away with the victory from there. And then they went to commercial break after everything broke down. Then they came back to showing a Solo Sikoa getting ready, preparing for his match, basically in his own tune, basically hyping himself up, and then wrapping his thumb up backstage and getting things underway. Then they pan to a shot directly of Seth Rollins being interviewed backstage and says that if you know him well, you know he always got a plan B. And then things broke down from there as he talked a little bit more in his promo. Then he proceeded to walk towards the entrance ramp, and then he ran into Drew McIntyre on his way towards Gorilla. And then he yelled at him, told him he isn't dead yet on his way to his entrance. And then the entrance popped, and then things broke down from there. And then I love that nice panic cinematic shot of him walking all the way from the back, all the way through Gorilla without actually showing too much details of Gorilla and showing him going out to the crowd, which I'm loving that a little bit more. If they do that a little bit more when it comes to big field matches or tag team matches, give us back that old school 96 feel of them coming from their locker rooms and hyping things up and getting ready to interject themselves for their actual matches. I would enjoy that. If they do that for WrestleMania, I think that would be a really good take of doing that when it comes to the title matches. Actually show them like prepping and getting ready to go out through the curtain and doing the whole kind of thing like how it was in that old school 96 Shawn Michaels and Stone Cold Steve Austin match at the WrestleMania where they basically were doing that old prelude of them having like the little start of it before they head out and got ready for their match and hyping things up, and then they're already at the curtain, and then get ready to head out of Gorilla to get ready for their entrance to pop. Then we get ready for the match of the night. Solo Sikoa came out as well. Love his theme. Couldn't ask for anything better when it comes to Solo Sikoa. Solo has always interjected himself as being a great talent, and you couldn't ask for anything better when it came to this main event. This main event went the distance, back and forth. A lot of weapons were being involved, back and forth, pop spots. A nice little spot where Solo Sikoa hitting a Samoan drop through the table, but then also the nice little table spot as well as Seth Rollins ended up hitting a power bomb, and he ended up power bomb Solo Sikoa through it directly, and then ended up hitting the blackout curb stomp as things really connected from there. Then Jimmy Uso runs in, and then he takes out Seth Rollins with a super kick. Then Jay Uso theme hits, and of course Jimmy Uso turns around smirking and everything in between. And then things broke down from there as they ended up brawling, which it was about time seeing their brothers go at it like truly nobody involved. But then they ended up fighting back towards the gorilla up the ramp. And then soon as Jimmy Uso head through and Jay Uso went through, Jay got re-tossed out, kind of like the old school DX style with the Spirit Squad, kind of like leap of faith, basically getting tossed out. And then The Rock came out and, of course, started putting the beat down on him as well. And then threw him basically back into Gorilla for Jimmy to pick up the pieces from there. Then The Rock basically stared on Seth Rollins, who was in the ring, and started making his way directly up towards the ring. And then he made his way into the ring as Seth Rollins was trying to pick himself back up. And then things really broke down from there as soon as The Rock was basically about to approach him while Seth Rollins still was prone down in sitting position. He smirked and smiled. And then Cody Rhodes steam blared. Of course, he was bandaged up and everything, but he came down, steamrolling all the way there. Then he started brawling directly with The Rock, going back and forth, throwing a couple of hammer shows and punches back and forth, and then knocked him down as The Rock rolled directly out the ring. And then, of course, he started brawling with him a little bit more, knocking him directly down. Then both Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes cleared the announcer's table, and then they basically rode through The Rock directly onto the announcer's table. And then Cody Rhodes is about to do something that a lot of people was expecting. I thought he was gonna hit the crossroads, but he's about to set up The Rock for the rock bottom. But then Roman Reigns made the save and basically pulled Cody Rhodes off him, threw him into the ring post. Was able to do the same thing as Seth Rollins, throw him to the ring post, and together they pretty much put the beat down directly on Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes back and forth. And then they interjected themselves, throwing them back in the ring as Roman took advantage of hitting the Superman punch and the spear and on both competitors. Then Rock proceeded to take his weight belt off, which was the blue version of the American Nightmare one weight belt. Then they proceeded to both of them proceeded to whip both competitors back and forth, and things really broke down from there as Seth Rollins was trying to get to his feet. But then Roman Reigns grabbed him to a guillotine choke. Then The Rock grabbed the belt and started whipping him on his back. As things concluded, respectfully, as they ended up standing tall, holding up their respective belts, as Roman ended up getting his Universal Championship, and The Rock still had the weight belt, the blue one, and they both ended up raising both their belts, and that pretty much finished the night from there. But for my own hot take, WrestleMania is about to be good. You can't ask for anything better. I look forward to seeing how things really break down leading up to 4 days away. Saturday's going to be entertaining 100%. It's probably going to be one of the biggest WrestleManias you really out there really look forward to. And I would like to know from you guys' own personal opinion and point of view how you guys look forward to seeing and who your hot take winners are. Of course, I'm going to do my prediction of basically who I feel who are going to be the winners and the runner-ups to WrestleMania leading up to that actual date. And I do my check marks, and I'd like to know from you guys' own point of view as well. But I appreciate you guys coming through and show your love and support. Post your comments down below, like, comment, subscribe, and let's go ahead and get it to 1,000 subscribers. Until the next one. Woo!